Let's be real for a second. We have all had that fantasy. You know the one. You let a radioactive spider bite you and boom, you have abs, you can do backflips, and Zendaya wants to date you. Or maybe you get blasted by gamma radiation and become an unkillable tank. But have you ever opened a medical textbook? Because if you apply actual science to those scenarios, you don't get a superhero, you get a corpse. Gamma radiation melts your organs. Radioactive venom gives you necrotic sepsis, not a spidey sense. Welcome to Marvel Ruins, the timeline where Murphy's Law is absolute God. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. This isn't a story about heroes saving the day. This is a story about what happens when you try to become a god and biology punches you in the face. To understand why this story is so messed up, we have to talk about its twin brother, Marvels. Back in the 90s, there was this legendary comic called Marvels. It was beautiful. It was painted like a Renaissance masterpiece. It followed a photographer named Phil Sheldon who looked at heroes with wonder. He called them the Marvels. Well, writer Warren Ellis saw that and said, nah, let's ruin it. He wrote a parody called Ruins. Same photographer, same timeline, same events, but in this universe, every single scientific experiment fails. The twist here is realism, brutal, cynical realism. In Ruins, nobody's special. People are just meat sacks waiting to explode. And Phil Sheldon isn't documenting miracles anymore. He's documenting a crime scene, a global crime scene. Let's look at the police report. Let's start with the face of Marvel, Peter Parker. In Ruins, Peter is a Daily Bugle intern. He visits a lab, a radioactive spider gets loose, you know the drill. It bites him. But instead of waking up with 20/20 vision, Peter wakes up with a high fever. The radiation in the venom acts like a hyper-aggressive virus. His skin starts to peel off in chunks. His hair falls out. He develops open sores all over his body. He visits the Daily Bugle offices not to take pictures, but to beg for help. But he's contagious. He passes the virus to everyone in the room. Peter Parker doesn't become the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He becomes patient zero of a flesh-eating plague. He dies alone, shivering in a corner, hallucinating about a life where he was a hero. It's not tragic, it's disgusting. Next up, Bruce Banner. In the main timeline, Bruce saves Rick Jones from a Gamba bomb and becomes the Hulk. In Ruins, Bruce runs out to save Rick Jones. The bomb goes off. Now, gamma rays are high-frequency ionizing radiation. They tear DNA apart. Bruce doesn't grow muscles. His body literally forgets how to hold itself together. He turns into a pulsating green mass of living tumors. He is conscious. He is in agony, but he can't scream because he doesn't have a mouth anymore. The government puts him in a vault under the desert, codenamed the Hulk. Not because he's strong, but because he's a massive, cancerous biological weapon that won't stop growing. It's pure body horror, straight out of The Thing. And finally, the X-Men. In the real world, people hate mutants, right? In Ruins, the president is Charles Xavier, and you'd think, oh, great, a mutant president. Wrong. President Xavier is a tyrant who believes mutants are dangerous to national security. He rounds them all up into a prison camp in Texas. Magneto isn't a revolutionary leader. He's wearing a metal dampener suit that accidentally malfunctions, and the magnetism crushes his own bones. Cyclops? His eyes are surgically removed or burned out. Quicksilver? They cut off his legs. It's not a superhero team, it's a concentration camp. It strips away the glamour of the X-Men and leaves only the political horror of segregation and eugenics. So why does this comic exist? Why would anyone write something this depressing? If you read the comments online, people say, oh, it's just edgy nonsense. But here's the kicker. Marvel Ruins is the most terrifying comic ever written because it's the only one that's true. If you or I tried to be Iron Man, we would die of shrapnel poisoning. If we tried to use a teleporter, we would be turned inside out. The dark multiverse of Ruins isn't a nightmare dimension, it's our world. The twist is that we're the people living in the Ruins universe. We're the people living in a world where accidents are just accidents, where radiation kills you, where heroes don't swoop down to save us. Phil Sheldon at the end of the comic realizes this. He realizes that heroes are a fever dream, and as he's documenting all this death, he notices a rash on his arm. Remember Peter Parker? Yeah, Phil caught the virus. The narrator dies, the book ends, no moral, no hope, just ruins. It's a grim read, I won't lie, but it forces you to appreciate the fantasy of Marvel a little bit more. We need the fantasy, because the reality is way too messy. What do you guys think? Is Ruins a masterpiece of horror, or is it just misery porn? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you see a glowing spider, step on it. Don't let it bite you. Trust me on this one.